Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurudeva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om to all of you, and welcome to this session, this book reading session, book called A Manual of Self-Unfoldment. This is by Swami Chinmayananda, Gurudev as he is popularly known. This is a very beautiful book. First of all, this book reading session, for most of us these days, until we are not, it's not an examination that we have to give, we have stopped reading. Therefore, I thought this would be a good time to get together and read. When we have to get together and read, we will make it a practice, a discipline. This reading allows us, when we have this book with us, we are able to think a lot for ourselves. That's why it's important. And this book, the one that I'm holding in my hand, was published, that edition was published in 1975. 50 years old. And what is written in the book is so relevant, even today. And when we read the book, we say, yes, I agree. Moment to moment, because we see the truth that is mentioned here is timeless. That is the beauty. That's what makes it a Shastra. No, it's not fictional in nature, or it's not even a classic literature. That's what differentiates this book with every other book. Because what is written is like, what we say. It is firm, and it speaks, like I said, it's timeless. It is relevant at any given point of time. That's the beauty of it. Very simple words. So many of us have learned the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. We have studied the Upanishads. After all of that, I still recommend come back to this book, because it deals directly with who we are. And it's so inspiring, so motivating. And whenever you feel low, you feel, no, I may not be able to do this. Am I capable of doing this? These are the struggles, the challenges that every human being faces at any given point of time, isn't it? Am I capable enough? Hence, reading this book time and again, it's very inspiring, very motivating. And let's make this a discipline to meet every Saturday for this reading session. I know we are all very busy. In fact, man has become so much more busier these days. There are just so many things to attend to. But in the midst of all this, it takes a toll. Remember, whatever the challenges we are facing in life, the struggles that we are going through, if we are not anchored in this kind of wisdom, then there is a possibility that we lose ourselves, that we may get waylaid. We have gone too far in directions that, we feel lost, then we want to come back. So it is better to be anchored in this wisdom. So whatever happens, if you decide in your mind that come what may, this book reading session is something I'm not going to miss. Let's make it a discipline. It's very good for ourselves, because whatever Gurudev has written is for the benefit. Then the youth and the grown-ups, they benefited from it. And even today, we continue to benefit. That's the beauty of this. And Swami Chinmayananda, just a very, because before reading any book, we must know about the author of the book. When we go to see a film and somebody recommends, hey, why don't you see this movie? We want to know who's in it, who's acted, who's the director, right? So Swami Chinmayananda was one who had participated. He was a journalist, a dynamic, fiery personality who participated in the freedom struggle of India. But he had a very strong opinion about the sadhus and the sannyasis of India, whom he thought were really not productive, not doing much. Okay, the typical thinking that goes. Even today, many people hold that view. Oh, what do these sannyasis do, renunciates do anyway? They give up all of this and then they are not productive. With this kind of a view in mind, he went to expose some sadhus as a journalist also. And that's how he went to the north and in Rishikesh. He met Swami Shivananda. He said, let me go and spend some time there and gather content to be able to prove my hypothesis. And when he went there and saw the kind of lifestyle Swami Shivananda was leading, he was a doctor, actually. Swami Shivananda was a doctor, continued to practice medical. He had the medical degree, medical practice, and he continued even after sannyasa, because he said, that's a knowledge, a skill that I have, and free, may he would do that for all the sadhus, for all the locals in Rishikesh. After staying there, he realized these people lead a very austere life, and renunciation is not that easy. So he was given the other side of the picture. And he got so appreciative. And in fact, he was in awe of what he saw. That he stayed there for a month before he himself asked to become a sannyas. So this was the turning point. So when we seek the truth, and for the sake of the truth, you will see a transformation within yourself. It's all because we haven't sought answers in that direction that it hides. It seems like it's hiding. Whereas the truth is all pervading, all prevailing. but we do not see that. So such a person who then was under Swami Shivananda's guidance, then under Swami Tapovan Giri Maharaj, understood the wisdom of the Upanishads, and he couldn't wait to spread this beautiful knowledge to all. That is why he made it a mission that he would, because he belonged to another, the right opposite point of view he held that thought process. He realized what he had missed. The wisdom of our scriptures, the Upanishads, the Gita, is so deep, so profound. And he felt that everybody should know about it. So that's why he came down from the Himalayas and started speaking to. Just wherever he would gather a group of people, he would say, do you want to listen to this? And speak. And he enchanted, beautiful. He was such clarity and vocabulary. So, reading his book, you will also learn a lot of other things. You will learn to write very well. Your vocabulary will increase because that's Gurudev's words. I remember whenever Gurudev's lectures would go on, in Oval Maidan and many places, people would say, whether you're interested in the Gita or no, because he would conduct these Gita Jnana Yajnas everywhere. Go and listen to him, for you will learn English definitely. And he's very interesting, to listen to, a dynamic person. So without too much time, we will keep speaking about him in every session. Let us proceed with this. And when he wrote an introduction or a preface, 2 words about this book before it was being published, there is a small paragraph. I shall just read it out. He says, I prescribe this textbook for the students' study as guidelines and, to become group leaders also for discussions on this book. While reading through the manuscript, I have tried to gear it up to make it exhaustive, clear, and effective to the modern, university-educated, scientific-minded, emotionally secular, and intellectually arrogant, skeptic young boys and girls of the world. He thought this is the way the world was. Then, when I say 50 years ago, then it includes me as a young person then, emotionally secular and intellectually arrogant, maybe. But I think this kind of applies to the youth even today, especially whom we call Gen Z, right? So this is very important that we have this much, but without much ado, let us just start with chapter 1. The first chapter, discover the secret strength. For all of us who don't have these books, I would recommend that you buy it online or from any of these Chinmaya Mission centers. You will get these copies so that you can keep reading often. Discover the secret strength. It is the privilege of man to achieve greatness. Success should have been his habit. And yet, we find millions upon millions suffering in their disorganized life, the agonies of failures. Just one paragraph. But see, every sentence is with so much depth. First of all, it is the privilege of man to achieve greatness. We've never thought of it this way. It's only human beings who can achieve greatness. What can a buffalo do, or what can a shark do, or a whale do? By themselves, they don't even look for it. They have nothing else to gain, isn't it? It's only a human being who looks to do something bigger than himself, who struggles, who wants to strive. Isn't it? This faculty is in each one of us, that we want to put an effort and excel. We want to do better. Today I'm able to do this, tomorrow I want to do it. I can dream for something better tomorrow. Nobody else has the privilege. We have to acknowledge it. Except own it up. And he says success should have been his habit. If he is forever struggling for this, success only should have happened. But it's not seen. So why? Let's see. In our modern society, for every successful man, we watch hundreds who are disappointed, dejected, and broken down. As on a grinding stone, people get themselves crushed in the competition of the modern material world and its market. Yet all the spiritual literature of the world unanimously declares that this need not be the tragedy of the human race. If the individual members know the art of diligently using their own abilities and efficiency. So somewhere we are making a mistake, isn't it? Diligent use of our own abilities and efficiency. We haven't come to that. Probably we don't even look for it. In today's world, we are told what is to be done, isn't it? More and more. What is to be studied? What is to be done? By this age, you should be doing this. So where is the time really? Because we are trying to fit into a mold that is already made. So our own abilities and efficiencies, in case we have the ability to fit into that mold, very good. But there are many who have great abilities and talents, but somehow they are not meant for this mold. So we will see more of this. Any questions come to you, please write it down. Okay? Because all the answers you will hear them as we proceed reading this book. Vedanta uncompromisingly insists that man is essentially perfect, and therefore infinite are the possibilities that lie lurking in him. The rishis cry, we must realize that we have within ourselves all the resources, ability, energy, and power for building up a supremely successful life for ourselves and for others in the world. There is one great and covetable gift which is distinctly ours at all times. And this is our profound capacity to discover, develop, and usefully employ the infinite essence in us. This is a declaration of Vedanta. Okay, but we have not studied. That's okay. This declaration has been done. You are the very essence. You are the truth. Tat Tvam Asi. That consciousness, that truth, that reality you are. Now, it's a very big concept to understand. No? And we need to know, how am I that? In my experience, I don't feel anything. So that's a study. We come parallelly, we learn the Shastras, we come to understand this. For our intellectual mind, the logical, the rational, all we learn. But before that, we must understand the rishis have already told us that we can be really successful and happy. We can be fulfilled. We do not have to be dissatisfied and unfulfilled in our lives. A life organized for the discovery of the potentialities already existing within ourselves and the ordering of our behavior so as to nurture and nourish them is a life well spent. Herein lies our success. Herein, our success depends upon the amount of transformation we can successfully bring about in our personality and character. The vital question is not how many talents each one of us has, but how much of our existing talents we can explore, develop, and exploit. An individual may have many talents, and yet he can be a miserable failure in life. That person is successful who makes a practical use of at least one great talent that he possesses. Very practical and beautiful. See, what does he say? A life organized for the discovery of the potentialities already existing within ourselves and the ordering of our behavior so as to nurture and nourish them is a life well spent. It's a beautiful definition that is. We must, these are words of wisdom. So here is his definition. And we must see how would we like to define a well spent life? What would we be happy? Does it match with this? Or maybe it doesn't. But if it doesn't, then what are the disadvantages? As we read, we will understand. And see, very good. Discovery of the potentiality is already existing. How many of us have gone within and literally seen, I have this potential, I have this strength, I have this talent. Very many of us wake up to these latent talents much later in life, isn't it? We say there is a time after retirement for me to. No? But here he says, our life organized in just discovering this first. And ordering of our behavior, meaning our nature, our conduct, how we conduct ourselves, how do we express ourselves in this world, it must be to nurture and nourish them. Each one of us. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Isn't it? Enhancing our personality. So, this is important here. How many of us have really gone within ourselves and seen, even today? I know many corporate interviews, maybe they ask, can you tell us about yourself? 5 strengths and 5 weaknesses or whatever, maybe they don't number it. But when we truly look in, do we really know immediately? I know my strength, I know my weakness. No, we will be lost a little. How to put it and really to discover, because we have not sought within us. We are trying to all the time fix things according to what we would like to project to the world, because they have certain expectations. we try and match that all the time. We haven't gone in and seen for ourselves what we are capable of. And each one has a talent. As he says, in the paragraph, our present and future welfare thus mainly depends upon ourselves. Let us never look outside ourselves for help. Let us not fall into the delusion that the influence of others would enable us to do better and accomplish more. All our success entirely depends upon ourselves. Let us realize these fundamentals. So how you mold yourself, isn't it? Has a lot to do with who you are. Only if we look within. Today's life, technological advancements, I mean, this is a technology world, isn't it? Everything has become very comfortable for us, very convenient for us to use. And the more, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me, that we have become dependent on these machines and electronic gadgets, so much so that it has begun to influence us, our behavior. Our behavior is not being influenced by who am I, but rather how to maintain this level of comfort and convenience. So I am actually dependent on things that is external to me, that is outside of me. And the more I am dependent on things that are outside of me, controlled by people who are outside of me, controlled by the situations that get created outside of me, of which I have no control. What have I done? Basically, handed over the keys of my happiness and satisfaction to another. So now you tell me how I should dance. I have become a puppet. The more I am dependent this way on external things, this is where you need to reclaim this. You have to take control of your life, your situation. Very clear. Our present and future welfare mainly depends upon ourselves. Let us not be dependent on someone else to direct our lives. This is why Shankaracharya would say this: we need dhairya. Dhairya is the courage, forbearance, patience, able to sustain all challenges that come. Today, if you see, like I said, in our busy worlds, we are so busy with so many things external to us. Spiritual classes or spirituality is the first casualty, I would say. When we have to meet so many demands, so how come you didn't come? You didn't attend class? Me, Acharya, what happened? No, this happened and that happened. Guests were there. It was raining. Something. And somehow we think a spiritual class we can let go. The same thing, anything of the world, we say, no, that is important. Until we do not discover this and learn that this is the most important. That's why I say, at least this one class, I mean, if not this class, I'm not telling you to attend this class of mine only. Listening to spiritual and religious books which anchor you in who you are. Every day, half an hour of your time. Be rooted in that. Be rooted in that wisdom, then face the world. You are equipped with a lot of strength. and the right direction. You will not be misled anyway. Otherwise, we are like a ship which is in the ocean, huge waves coming, but the ship is not anchored. What will happen to the ship? All the time worried when I will drown, isn't it? Therefore, this is very, very necessary. Dependency on external objects, people, situations. Do not keep expecting and looking for these objects and possessions and people to, satisfy you or give you that happiness or fulfillment. You have to learn to create it for yourself. Independent. That's where lies your strength. That's what will give you strength also. Should be an inner thing. What we regularly encourage and consistently cultivate in our mind determines our character and ultimately our destiny. Evidently, an intelligent choice of thought can transform the character pattern in us. The entire destiny of our life then lies in our own hands. This is why Swami Vivekananda has declared, isn't it? He says, you are the master of your destiny. How come are you the master? But when you have your mind under control, isn't it? Otherwise, you're lost. What we regularly encourage and consistently cultivate in our mind determines our character. So be very careful. We are always very particular about what kind of food we should eat that suits our body, isn't it? Making changes to the diet depending on what is required. But very rarely do we pay attention to the kind of food that we feed our mind. Isn't it? Because we are caught up with it. Until it has become too stressed or fearful or doubting or negative, then we feel the burden of our own mind. And we want to get out of it. We cannot bear it because we have not paid attention to what kind of thoughts we are encouraging. So be very careful. As much as personal bodily hygiene is required, you need a subtle hygiene for your energies and thoughts that you encourage within. Be very clean about it. Take what is needed, only what is needed. The others learn to keep it. Why should you even include it within? Because if we consistently cultivate this habit, it will only benefit us. We must be like a sieve. We must be like a filter. So something is poured, take what is required, the neat portion, the dust, and what is not necessary can be thrown away and clean. Don't become like a sponge, taking everything and getting burdened until you have to be totally squeezed out. You get dirty in the process. Must be very careful of it. So consistent cultivation and regularly encouraging our mind, that will make up for who we are. And what we are finally, then we write. You are what you think, isn't it? Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan Krishna says. So finally, you are writing your own destiny. Because who you are, you're going to express in your actions, in your speech, in your thoughts. And that is going to be affecting, influencing the world outside. And that's how you're going to carve out your road and your destiny. So we must be very careful about this. To an intelligent man alone is given this freedom for rebuilding his future. A true seeker is he who is constantly asserting day by day hour by hour. And he alone has this privilege of ordering his future lifestyle. Even if we have made a mistake, even we have gone on a path which has not got us success, no problem. Because I've read this, now I'm reading this, and here Gurudev saying it's intelligent to be able to rebuild. We have the capacity, we have the privilege. You don't have to keep mourning over. Yes, learn the lessons. Begin to rebuild. Where do I start? Where do I have to go? Asserting, a true seeker is one who's asserting day by day, hour by hour, and he alone has this privilege of ordering his future life. And one must have that within you. See, when you know, I have to travel this way. So I know, I make inquiries, I find out, right? How to reach there. This is the place I want to go to Delhi. So how am I going to go? What are the different ways of going, reaching that place? Each. If I take a flight, what happens? If I take a bus, what happens? If I drive my own car, what happens? What is the road? What is the route? What are the challenges on the way? Everything I make out. Then I decide, well-informed decision. So much of control rather than depending on somebody else to take care of all this stuff. This is what we do most of us. It's not about travel. This is a small example. But most of the time, most of the decisions and the goals, our own dreams are actually so much colored and influenced by outside, the world outside. Learn to see the difference. The screaming, misguided world wherein men are suffering today from their own inner insufficiencies needs religion more than any other age ever did. No doubt, the generation has the easy capacity to learn and appreciate philosophy, but childlike today's man always fails to live up to its saner dictates. For many of us, we say we know what is being written, it's not new to us. No spiritual man can really teach us something that we don't know. He can only remind us because each one within ourselves knows. But what happens? We fail to put that into practice. Religion is not an attempt at improving the conditions of the world so that people may gain freedom from all wants and needs, enjoying thus a higher standard of living. But religion imparts the art of living by which each one discovers in himself the equipoise to stand up to life's situations, meeting efficiently the ever-changing world of challenges he has to meet. So here we are not looking at the world outside. What can be done to change the world? Many people are very interested in this. Oh, what is happening to the world today? What will happen to the future generation? As I have said, it was a quote by Aristotle. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if he was the first one or many before him must have also said. But Aristotle had also said, I wonder what's going to happen to the future generation, which he spoke, so many 100 years ago. He was talking about our forefathers. Okay? He was worried about them. So this is an ongoing thing. And it has, as we say, religion has nothing to do with that. It is not about changing the outside. It imparts the art of living by which we can stand up to life's situation and meet up every challenge in this ever-changing world, which means it is subjective. It is not outside of. It is about me, myself, and how am I to transform. We have always thought religion as to be going to the temple, praying. All that is part. And we do that because we need to subjectively transform ourselves. But we have forgotten that. Isn't it? And today there is a lot more talk. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Religion is the art of living. It takes you to become the spiritual person. We are all spiritual beings going through human experience, is what Gurudev says. He says, you are not a human being seeking spiritual experience. And only this religion will tell us that. Our culture teaches us this, to recognize the spirit within, which we have only forgotten. So, how do we get this? Is through knowledge, irresistible strength. Vedanta is the art of living, and it can be pursued under all circumstances, at all places, whether it be in our own house or in a factory or in the rice field. You must cultivate a habit to get an insight into the great philosophy and maintain a spiritual curiosity to understand its scientific conclusions. Check up the truth of these conclusions in your own daily experiences and devotedly follow up these values of life that are admitted by your own inner understanding. So this is the self-effort. This is what we must do. And today you will see more than this, that there are scientists, research, people who do a lot of study and are inquiring into the nature of the world, be it in the these physicists, they seem to be influenced by Vedanta. They say their hypothesis is built upon Shankara's philosophy or Advaita Vedanta. There are many similarities that they say. So, then it is available to us. This is a rich inheritance, but somehow we have forgotten about this. So we must cultivate a habit to read a little bit, to understand and live. By closely following up these methods with a clear and pure intellect, soon you will grow out of your inner weakness to prove a better man to face your own personal problems in life. There is no problem in the world that can cow you down if you are equanimous at all times. Equanimity is a great virtue. What is being equanimous? To be indifferent to anything that has affected you in understanding, with deep understanding, not rejecting the experience that you're going through, but to maintain the calmness of mind. This is what Samatva Buddhi, as Bhagavan Krishna says. That's why he says, develop this. Be content with what you have, because what you are experiencing is exactly what you need to go through in this lifetime. So be content with whatever you are facing. But how you face it is in your hands. What you face is not in your hands. What you face is not in your hands. But how you face it, you have control, and one must have control. One must learn to control. The best way is to maintain this poise, this calmness, and not react to everything. That's why we have the responsibility or the ability to respond. It is our responsibility. And this ability to respond is what? A situation has hit me. Okay, so I don't need to immediately react. I have to call upon the strength within me, which is there. Pause. Okay, so this has happened. We say take a deep breath, right? Do that. Pause. Wait. Gather yourself. What am I to do in this situation? Think. And then respond. If you haven't made up your mind, if you are undecided, that is okay. So you say, I am undecided as of now. I will let you know soon. But take that time for yourself. You know, the world outside is so fast today. Everything is happening fast. You don't have time to think because you're bombarded with information today, isn't it? In a second, you're receiving messages from so many places. You open your WhatsApp, you do a Google on something, huh? And what does Google pride itself? That you asked for this and I've given you a lakh results about. I didn't want that. I just wanted one thing. And before I can even respond, I'm just muddled with so much. That's why we are caught up and we get, you see, everyone, it's not only children who are suffering from attention deficiency today, many adults are suffering the same. They cannot hold themselves with a single point of thought for a long time. Unfortunately, we brought this. But before, we are losing our minds this way. Let us gather ourselves. This is a beautiful virtue to cultivate with it. The Samattva Buddhi, becoming equanimous at all. The modern scientists have come to know more and more of the secrets of nature through their intense scientific researches conducted in their laboratories, and their knowledge bits have been given to the age. They rightly claim more and more strength and daring, nerve and vitality. Science has conquered nature and man has gained mastery over the outer world because of his acquired knowledge. The secret of our strength is in our knowledge. This is proven today. Now, Gurudev says about the great rishis. The great rishis have asserted emphatically that a certain amount of knowledge of the inner spiritual constitution of man will give him more mastery over his own life. The attempt of the scriptural masters was to analyze man who comes in contact with the world outside. They have found out what are the vehicles or instruments that constitute the experiences of life and how best they can all be controlled, purified, and readjusted so as to bring forth more and more success or happiness into each life. This analysis is the secret contents of all sacred texts, whether it belongs to the Hindus or Muslims or Christians or Buddhists of all religions in the world. It may be differently interpreted for everyone's benefit, but the truth is that this is what the rishis, when you speak of rishis, all the masters, spiritual masters who have explored and conquered their minds, have this to say. Religion is a great science and it has a glorious utility for the world. We are not talking of the religion of bell ringing or light showing. We are talking of the religion that helps one to discover in one's within a new strength and vitality to face one's own challenges in life, and the science that provides a new inward courage of conviction to live honestly, serving others. That which provides us with such a true and masterly living in the outer world is true religion, in the strictest sense of the term. Religion is a scientific re-evaluation of life, and just as the scientists retire to their laboratories and start to evaluate laboratories, the rishis also retire to the cool and silent valleys of Himalayas and start to evaluate life of man. The only difference is the scientists take the outer world as their field of investigation, and the rishis take their own inner world of experiences as the field of their search for truth. The scientists ask to understand what is the world, while the rishis seek to discover who or what is man. This is a very important aspect. Maybe it's one thing, something that he discovered himself, because he was truly seeing only the world before. He denied this existence of the spiritual, when he went and discovered in the Himalayas that this is not true. And while you need a standard of living, you need everyone to be above poverty, paying their basics, satisfaction, fulfillment, etc. Happiness itself is truly an inner thing. How much ever, suppose you have all the riches, you may still not be completely satisfied or fulfilled. And this is seen in our experience. Right? So while scientists are trying to investigate there and work, the rishis have done so much work and have written about this, evaluated life of man, studied this, and they have observed. They have dedicated their lives to this, learned and given us ready reckoners. That's why I'm saying this book is excellent for us. It's a ready reckoner. For Gurudev, who has gone to the Himalayas, he was one among us, went there, discovered something for him, discovered this great wisdom, and is sharing it with us. He has done that. We don't need to again go to the Himalayas to discover. If we can just see this, the truth of what is nature, all we need to do is bring about those changes, isn't it? True philosophy and science are based on life's experiences. Reason cannot start functioning in a vacuum. The importance of experience has been emphasized more in the Indian philosophy than in Western philosophy. And in the Indian philosophy itself, Advaita has the unique distinction of having based itself on the total experiences of man, the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. Experiences can be one's own or that of another who is a reliable authority. Let us consider modern scientific research as an example. How does scientific research proceed? Science as a whole is based on innumerable hypotheses utilized because they made it possible to get intelligible explanation of certain natural phenomena. Its laws and theories may need revision now and then as new data accumulates. Thus, science is a growing tradition, the present research being performed on the basis of validity and truthfulness of the past conclusions. In the same manner, the scriptures, Shruti or Upanishads, represent the experimental data gathered and conclusions arrived at by generations of sages, the scientists of the spirit. Their theories and conclusions have been confirmed as true by at least 100 mystics in every century all over the world for the past 7,000 years or more. That's why we call this the truth. Don't think, especially in our culture, with the Upanishads declaring the truth. Every teacher tells you to follow the technique and come to realize it on your own and to question him if it doesn't work that way. Because all the masters are scientists seeking the truth, in quest of the truth. And you see that what the scriptures, why the Bhagavad Gita itself is 5,000 years old. And when we read it, we realize its great impact and relevance even today. Because it speaks of this truth. It is not something that we are told, keep blind faith in it. Just simply follow it without question. We are not told that in our culture. We are asked to question. So whether we understand or no, many of us simply question. This is the intellectual arrogance we show towards this great inheritance we have. No? If we are true seekers, we must first read. We must try to understand what is, and then put forth our question. So this way, so you see, in our culture here, even in the past 500 years, take a Kabir, take a Guru Nanak Ji, take a Buddha. Krishna was 5,000 years. All the masters, Sant Jnaneshwar, how many spiritual gurus and masters have come to this conclusion, the same conclusion that has been written in the Shrutis and the Upanishads. All the masters that are existing today, contemporaries, also speak of this truth. Let us not deviate from it. Let us put our energies, pursue this. Give little bit of your time for this. For this will redirect your way of thinking. And it is only beneficial for us. For the rishis have nothing to gain in return. They haven't created some kind of institute by which, they have to see to it that this truth is followed and we need many, many followers and we need to convert and nothing. They have given this truth. They keep establishing. They say, yes, this is the truth. Take it. Every generation we have. This is being held true. The beauty is today, if we are reading this book and we are giving it a thought, it is also our Rishi Rin that we are paying back. What is this Rina? Rina is debt. It is the wisdom that they've given out of their graciousness. They have spent their lifetimes for it. And they've written it for us so that we have it easy. How can we ever repay? Only by reading and living what they have said. First of all, coming to appreciate what is said. So that's why we must learn what is said. So now we will go to materialism. Actually, it's quite the time now. Materialism versus the higher. We will take it up in the next class. Otherwise, we'll have to stop somewhere in the middle. Just the first paragraph. Religion is the technique of perfect living, of gaining a better mastery over one. Religion is that secret process which brings forth an effective personality out of even a shattered man of despairs and disappointment. Arjuna was cured by the 18 discourses in the Gita. You see, is a technique of perfect living, of gaining better mastery over oneself. This is a beautiful definition of religion itself. Have we heard? Have we even thought? When we say religion, all sorts of different images come to our mind. But what our master is saying, it's mastering yourself. It's conquering your mind. It's not talking about conquering the world at all. And this is truly empowering, this knowledge. This knowledge is truly relieving of all our agonies and stress, because we come to have ideas about who we are, not knowing truly who. So for today, we will conclude here. And so good to see all of you. Hope we continue this way. We will meet next Saturday again. Continue reading the book. In the meantime, you all can also read. If you have time, go back, start reading it again, so that we absorb it very deep. Read a page a day, give it some time. So shall we conclude for today? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.